Oh, I don't have my Bowden cup. Hello and welcome to the Too Much Time on Our Hands podcast. If you're watching us on the YouTube stream, hello YouTube. Wave everyone, wave. Wave. If you're joining us and listening to us on the podcast, on the audio, wherever that's coming from, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, we don't mind. Thank you very much for listening to us. Now, today we're going to be looking at a very, very interesting subject. It is the human memory, or at least the human memory's effect on the plots of films that you've seen at one point, but you don't really remember what was going on. That's right, we're going to be looking at badly remembered films. But before we get stuck in, I thought it would be very nice to introduce the rest of the Too Much Time on Our Hands team. So, hello, Dan.
Hello, happy Wee Shop Wednesday.
Yeah. Hello, Duncan.
Hi, Tom. How are you doing? I'm fine, thanks, Tom, because I am drinking this Stormtrooper, my last original Stormtrooper beer, Light Speed Pilsner. So
It's your last one?
It's my last one, so it's not doing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, this plot line is going to die now. And hello, Russ.
No. Did anyone get that whole bit where I just spurted beer everywhere? Was that by the point when we were live?
No, we've moved on to saying hello to Russ. Hello, Russ.
I'll just take what Duncan said as my hello.
Excellent, brilliant. Well, hello to all of you out there. As I said, we're going to be looking at badly remembered films. A long time ago, we looked at such classics as The Flight of the Navigator, Basic Instinct, various other films, and this week we're going to be looking at a few each. So I'm going to hand over to Dan to give us a little bit of a follow-up on my introduction. Dan.
Not much more to say. So what we've done is we've each compiled 4 films, I think. We might get through 4. We've got some films, basically. So at least 3 films. That we have to have seen them. That's a key factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just say, I don't know what happens in this film because I haven't watched it. You have to have seen it, but you just have to have a passing knowledge on what actually happens in the film. So what we're then going to do is we're going to discuss what we think happens in the film. I've got mostly bullet points in some, and I've also got nothing written for a couple, so that might be entertaining as well. And then we'll have a discussion what actually happens in the film with people that might actually know. So if you're in the chat and you know what happens in the film, feel free to join in the conversation. But wait till we've gone through our whole list, because we might get to it at some point.
Absolutely. Feel free to join in at home. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, it's a fairly long-winded way of saying we're going to talk about some films, but it doesn't scan as well, does it?
Films that we don't remember, and I've specifically gone for ones that I feel like I should remember.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's like, I like to think of myself as a Bond fan. So naturally, I think to myself, I should be able to remember the plots of pretty much all the Bond films. But there are some Bond films that plot defy logic, and, well, we're going to prove that tonight, I would imagine, at some point.
There are some Bond films that don't really have a plot.
Yeah. Well, that is also true. That's also very true. Very astute, Russ. Very astute. So, who's going to go first? Shall I pick someone? Shall I just do a random light?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's Russ. It landed on Russ.
Right. Which one should I go with first? Oh, this is one that I saw popping up on the EPG. And it's one of those ones where you think, I would definitely watch that. I will sit down and I will not do what I was going to do for the next couple of hours. I'm going to watch that instead. I'm going to have a great time. So this film is, I think at its core, this film is a love story. It's a love story between a father and a son who aren't actually father and son, but they still just love each other too much. It's kind of the ultimate expression of and celebration of unbridled masculinity that you will ever see. There is no problem that is encountered in this movie that can't be solved just by taking a hunking great man and throwing him at it. It's kind of a rejection of sort of technology and science and the more sort of what we call the namby-pamby arts, and how that really you should just deal with everything by using a wrench larger than a cow. And apparently at one point there's a woman in it, but I don't remember that.
I mean, I know what film
And
you're talking about, by the way.
This is a film where characters express themselves and they emote. They don't cry. What happens is the pure testosterone just builds up in them to the point where it starts leaking out of their eyeballs.
This
And,
transporter.
that's pretty much all I remember about it, really.
It's not the transporter, no. Can I ask some questions, Russ?
You can.
Is this notorious for having a director's commentary where one of the actors sits there basically asking what the point of the film is?
I believe so, yeah, but it's because they were so method about it that they just didn't really engage their brain, because apparently at no point in this film does anybody do that.
I believe the actor even at some point says, and I think this might give it away, hang on, why didn't they just train astronauts to be miners?
Yeah, that is the whole...
Armageddon.
That's the moment where, like...
No, it's Deep Impact, isn't it?
The, this film doesn't need to exist, actually, does it? Moment.
Why did they train miners to be astronauts? Like, notoriously one of the most difficult things you can do.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Armageddon, absolute fucking belter of a movie.
It is.
Even if it is ridiculous in like every sense. There is nothing about it that is not beyond ridiculous.
So what is it about
Gratuitous
you
use
that,
of slow motion, always a plus.
what is it that you badly remember about it?
Oh, nothing. I just like it.
I mean, the whole arc is basically Ben Affleck wanting to get into Liv Tyler's knickers, and he has to go to space.
No, absolutely incorrect. The
There
whole
is
arc is Ben Affleck desperately wanting Bruce Willis to give him a hug and tell him that he loves him.
Yeah, that's more the case.
Yeah, and he'll get that
If
hug.
anything-
Yeah.
If anything, his relationship with Liv Tyler is there because he wants to be closer to Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I don't remember
actually
any women
accept
being
that.
in this movie, and if there were, they were completely superfluous. They don't serve any purpose whatsoever.
Liv Tyler spends the whole film crying. as far
And
as I
running in
remember.
slow motion, but in high
Yeah.
heels.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
slapping her hand against monitors.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
and Steve Buscemi doesn't play a paedophile in this, so that's nice.
Well,
And-
that's a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
For his
And-
acting career.
And it's
Duncan
got one of the
Hand.
and it got one of the best lines where the token Russian astronaut goes, what is it, American, Russian, it's all made in China. It was quite a funny line, and I totally ruined it, but it was always funny.
Especially topical these days, especially that war on trade.
So yeah, I fucking love Armageddon. I would never like admit to paying money to go and see it anywhere or buying it, but if that pops up on, you know, film 4, it's not going to be on film 4, is it? On, let's face it, ITV2.
And now, in
At
a
10
change
o'clock
from
at
a
night,
regular
you're definitely
programming
watching
with Francois Truffaut series, is Armageddon.
Just
We did
trying
go to the cinema
when I'm,
and
when I'm
see
casually
that.
flicking between, you know, film 4, BBC 4, all the 4s,
Yeah.
and sometimes
All the 4s.
you'll accidentally slip into the murky mire of ITV and
Yeah,
end up watching Armageddon.
when you finish watching the ballet, then you can just pop on Armageddon, and
We did go to the cinema. I think we went
4.
more
That's
than
a bit
once.
scaring me.
I didn't see Armageddon in the cinema, which I do feel is a shame. But I don't think it's one of those movies that has enough cultural cachet to get like a 25-year re-release in, like, you know, remastered for Dolby Surround Sound, like Scott Pilgrim is at the moment. You never know. They did it with Top Gun. They did it with Jurassic Park. So we'll see.
oh, there will definitely be Armageddon 2, where Ben Affleck's the father figure.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Armageddon
That'd be
2,
right.
Armageddon out of here.
Directed by Kevin Smith.
Amazing.
Tom, you see, you should be naming films, because I still have a bee in my bonnet about, for starters, the one that everyone's talking about at the moment, the documentary on Netflix called Seaspiracy or something.
Oh,
like that.
fucking.
And it
don't.
should just be conspiracy.
Do not
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
Duncan start talking about that movie.
Okay, I'm not
because-
going to.
Okay, so
And
moving
if
on.
you are a scientist and involved in the marine world at all, apparently it absolutely outrages you.
And
Fury!
the one that really
Fucking
annoys
hell.
me is the one that Dan Harmon pointed out, which is the sequel to Now You See Me should have been called Now You Don't.
Yeah. So what
Yeah,
would
that's
you have called
true.
Seaspiracy?
You
Conspiracy.
said conspiracy,
Ah,
which was
yeah, of
is
course.
far
Much
better.
You know that though, right, Russ? You're just taking the piss, yeah?
No, I just didn't hear you and didn't think about it at all.
Okay. Well,
I didn't care.
I've been thinking about it, so That's
Or like see no evil,
yeah.
hear no evil, see no evil.
See,
Or
that's
something
why
like that.
you need to be. That's why you need a Tom in the room.
That's why you need a Tom in the room.
Yeah.
To tell them not to bother making conspiracy or
Oh, you see-
conspiracy.
You see, I don't actually care about the film.
Shit,
Just the
it's
name.
some buckwit from Kent going off, going, "No, I'm enlightened, twat."
No. I don't care about the film. I care about the title.
Yeah.
That's it. The title's bad. Bad.
Right, who's next?
Who wants to go next?
I've got a badly remembered film.
Go for it.
Like I think this is going to be a mishmash of things tonight, and I'm cool with it. So let's just go with it. So I started thinking about films that I saw maybe once or twice that I really liked. Distinctly remember talking about like at school about how much I liked them, and now can't remember what actually happens in the films, because some of these films I don't see how they can stretch them to even an hour and a half. So let's start with one that I definitely loved, and I distinctly remember saying that I think it was my favorite film at the time. It's Speed. So here's what I've got. Keanu Reeves is a cop. He's mates with Jeff Daniels, who is also a cop. They go for a drink. They talk about being cops. Then Jeff Daniels is on a case where he ends up trying to arrest Dennis Hopper, but Dennis Hopper blows up his car, and I think with Jeff Daniels in it, or a lift or something. I can't
You have
quite
not
remember.
seen Speed for a very long time.
Yeah, I can't. To be fair, I can't remember what happens at.
I
He
mean,
does
you
die,
are-
doesn't
you're,
he?
You're very wrong on a lot of points here.
Anyway, he knows that Keanu's onto him, so he puts a bomb on a bus, and Keanu gets on the bus and gets Sandra Bullock to drive it about 50 miles an hour. And then it can't go below 50 miles an hour because
Oh,
otherwise... the
you
bomb-
remember that bit then, do you?
That's like the main plot of the film, right?
It's
I've
also
got
like the
nailed it.
tagline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
tagline, oh God, don't
Oh God, don't go
decelerate.
under 50 or the bus will blow
Yeah.
up.
Don't go under 50. Get Keanu on the
Speed.
bus with Sandra on the bus, driving the bus. Yeah.
Sandra's speed. Sandra's on a bus.
So now Keanu and Sandra are on a bus that's got to stay above 50 miles an hour. Dennis Hopper calls, and I quote, "Pop quiz hot shot. There's a bomb on the bus. What are you going to do about it?"
Pop quiz.
Yeah.
Will you A?
Yeah. Anyway, they drive a bus next to their bus,
Yeah.
and then they start getting everyone off the bus.
Yeah.
And this is when Dennis Hopper, who was calling from an apartment, escapes. But they chase him on a subway train, I seem to remember, after they daringly escape the bus before it blows up. Sandra and Keanu, they make it off bus just as it explodes and then chase Hopper through a train, I've written here. And then I think the train crashes through a wall as well because they obviously had some extra budget or something. That's Speed in my eyes. Am I
They
wrong?
actually-
Wow.
The bus
Sounds
blows
good.
up an aeroplane.
The bus blows up. Right, you forgot the whole lift bit.
The bus blows up an aeroplane. Oh, of course they fly. Yes. Okay. What's the lift bit?
The lift bit is why Dennis Hopper is pissed off with them.
Okay.
So the first thing that happens is Keanu Reeves, I keep wanting to say Jeff Goldblum, Jeff Daniels, are in the SWAT team that's called to a building where there's a hostage situation because somebody has trapped a bunch of people in the lift and is going to blow the emergency brakes unless they get loads of money. And that is Dennis Hopper. That's the job that he's planned. And they foil him using a little crane to hold the lift up. But he escapes. I think shoots Jeff, what's his face, in the leg, doesn't he?
How does Keanu get on the bus? That's the bit I'm still quite confused
The
about.
bus hasn't even happened yet.
I think he's going somewhere. isn't he?
Keanu
He's
doesn't
just
get
like,
on the bus.
He does.
He's
He just,
definitely on the bus.
Yeah. So he's trying to do this elevator job, and they
he's going to go
foil
and visit.
him.
He's going to go and
The
visit
pop
Jeff,
quiz
isn't
thing
he?
is something that Keanu Reeves and Jeff Daniels say to each other.
What?
Oh, is it?
Meet you
Oh,
on the
and that's
bus.
why it's
Like,
relevant when he calls
Pop
him.
quiz. You've got there's a hostage with a gunman with a hostage. You're 100 yards away. What do you do? That kind of it's like they're chucking scenarios at each other.
So it's nothing about a bus. They don't like kind of go.
No.
See you on the bus, buddy.
So they rescue all the hostages. He shoots him. Oh, that's it. He's got Dennis Hopper's got what's his face, Jeff Daniels, with a gun to his head. And Keanu Reeves shoots him in the fucking leg. Shoots his own partner in the leg. For some reason, that makes Dennis Hopper drop him. I suppose he's no use as a hostage anymore.
Oh yeah.
And he runs away. So then he's all pissed off with them. That's why he does the bus thing.
Jeff Daniels does die though, doesn't he?
Yeah, later on.
What, from a leg wound?
No.
Yeah, they just leave it.
Dennis Hopper's booby trapped his own house. So when Jeff Daniels is off doing like detective stuff, they work out who he is.
He gets in through a window.
House, a little PIR sensor goes off, and then the house blows up.
He goes in through a window, doesn't he? They go in through a window, and he's like standing there with his MP5. And then I seem to remember him in the SWAT suit, but no mask. They're literally just maskless.
Yeah, they see the little infrared sensor go, and he looks at it and he just sort of goes, and then the house blows up.
Pop quiz.
Yeah.
And then he's in a film with
Sandra Bullock.
Carrey.
With who?
Jim Carrey, Jeff Daniels.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Bomber.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
There's the whole bus shenanigans. They like...
The bus shenanigans, you can't just gloss over the bus shenanigans. That's the whole point
there's
of
some
the
driving
film.
around. They fake the CCTV camera that's hidden on the bus. They like loop 30 seconds of it. So while they're broadcasting that, they load everybody off the bus. They jump off the bus. Bus hits a plane. It explodes.
I remember because he notices
for some reason.
He notices on the looped feed
a glitch,
like someone's handbag
or something. Yeah,
that's it. And it keeps appearing and disappearing. And he goes no and blows it.
Do you get the feeling they had the idea for the film, then started making the film before they actually started writing the film? Before they were like,
best way to go sometimes,
actually, this is going to be quite difficult to make interesting.
What are we doing here? We don't know, but we've got a bus and it won't stop.
I love
it.
They do something with it.
They figure it out from the watch. It's the watch that is the key, because they figure out the
bomb is his police department retirement present, because he used to be a police bomb disposal technician.
Yeah, that all rings a bell now. That makes sense.
Do you know what film I haven't seen is Speed 2, which apparently is better than people think it is.
That can't be true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
There is no way putting a bomb on a boat can be exciting, in the sense that you want to make a boat exciting sideways down a canal. That's how you make a boat exciting.
What's it called? It's Speed 2 cruise control, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which
So
is
apparently it's actually quite good.
Who told you this?
I don't know. I've not seen it.
I actually did start watching. I can't remember why I didn't finish watching it. It's not because it was bad. I just can't remember.
The reason
why.
everyone takes the piss out of it is that a cruise ship is going at like 20 miles an hour tops in the sea with nothing else to hit. So the immediate stakes of the bus herring through downtown LA at 50 miles an hour are
but it's heading straight for a port. It still crashes into a port.
It's like a very long way away.
Yeah, but cruise ships take fucking ages to stop.
It does crash into the port at the end, and there's people running around going, but this has been going to happen for like 2 days. Why are there still people that go, it's still going straight for us. We should probably turn and run at some point.
It's because actually also the bad guys are on the cruise ship.
Yeah, but I mean, they've got GPS, haven't they? They'd know if there was a cruise ship that wasn't responding and was heading.
Yeah, like it's fairly easy to tell, surely.
A harbour.
Where
it really is.
A cruise ship is.
Yeah, it's called AI. It was Automatic Identification System, AIS. There's a whole website called Marine Traffic, which I highly recommend.
And a few months ago, you'd have been impressing everybody with that, but we all know about Marine Tracker now because everyone's been looking at that boat in the canal.
So I was going to say that is Marine the most boring thing that's ever happened. When someone says to you, there is a massive container vessel literally blocking the Suez Canal.
So funny.
And then when you see that they dug it out with one small JCB, you kind of go, And I loved the memes that were going around at the time, where it was like a woman and a man lying in bed facing opposite directions. She's got, in her thought bubble, it says, I bet he's thinking about other women. And in his thought bubble, there's a picture of the thing sideways and him just going, doesn't look stuck.
Did anyone see the video of because it was one of the there was either a tugboat or something, the crew celebrating when they were one of the ones helping remove it. The first thing I thought when I saw that stuck was like, "Oh, that skipper's lost his job, hasn't he? He's not working again. He's going to have to."
Don't bring this down. This is the best thing that's happened this year, and I like to enjoy it.
Yeah,
don't
don't.
think
I'm not
by
bringing it down.
actual
It's
human
fucking
cost into
hilarious.
it.
It is hilarious.
The best, I still think the best thing was that tweet that just said the first captain through has the opportunity to do the funniest thing that's ever happened. So it's amazing. Like, you hear stories apparently like them meeting up for like movie nights and stuff because there's like 300 boats.
I don't see how you can get a suspenseful movie out of this.
Well, out of Speed 2 Cruise Control.
No, sorry, I thought out of the
Speed
boat
2
stuck in the
Suez
canal.
Control.
It'd be Speed 3, isn't it?
There is a Speed 3 though,
No, there's not.
isn't there? I thought they. Oh,
That was an
it
episode
just
of Father
chaptered?
Ted.
So
I love. Now
So-
that. Oh, sorry, Tom.
no, I was just going to say, I'm just trying to think how they would stylize it. Like it would be like Speed 3.
It would
Like-
be SP33D, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then Suez
3.
would have a 3 in it instead of the E. And then Blocked would have a 3 instead of the E. Suez Blocked. Suez.
Blocked Suez.
Blocked Suez. Suez? Yeah.
So naturally, Speed 3 would have to be on a plane, right? You can't land the plane.
Well, no, but we're
until-
going. You're getting bigger and slower each time. So you've gone from bus already, as vehicles go, a relatively
slow.
big, slow vehicle to
Yeah.
fairly small cruise ship. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like one of those sort of hotels that float that you see. It was
Sandra
more like
Bullock was the bus driver,
boutique-y
though,
luxury
wasn't
one. But yeah, I think the only logical step is to go like
What about the ISS?
that moves far too quickly. That's like
this-
15,000 kilometers a second, isn't it?
I think the bus
What, the
driver gets
ISS?
shot.
Yeah, it's going insane. It's in orbit. It's going very quickly.
Gets
around the whole planet in like 90 minutes.
It's
those
have you
astronauts
not?
must just be geezers of vomit. Like,
It's gonna be in the next Fast and Furious. You can see it drift around the planet.
yeah.
I would say it'd be like a tractor, or something,
Tractor would be good, yeah.
or like one of those.
Combine harvester.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or like one of those ridiculous, those mining machines that basically just chews up a whole mountain at once with the big wheels.
Yeah.
well that
What
would
about
be
like
wicked.
the Channel Tunnel boring machines?
Or the
Yeah.
Already
the
boring.
thing that carries the space shuttle to the launch pad from the vertical assembly
There you
building.
go.
It moves
can't
at like
stop.
0.3 miles
Gotta
an
keep
hour.
going.
Yeah. Yeah. If this mobile launch moving facility drops below 0.2 miles a day.
And it's just the pad. There's not a space shuttle on it.
Yeah.
It's literally just the pad, and it zooms in and you see a
Loads
tiny
of
room.
guys with clipboards just watching it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
standing
Yeah,
standing
still.
in front of it, just walking
Yeah.
backwards slowly.
We're going to have to
In
do something
Germany-
about this in a week or two.
In Germany, they've got the road layers, which are, there are road layers which are
yeah, those
also
are phenomenal.
really,
They're
they're massive
cool.
and they're really slow as well, and they go at the same kind of pace. That would also be quite, you're building, but are you about to destroy the road as well? Lots more people working on it, and it has to just continue, and it has to continue laying road on top of road as it goes, and you know how much trouble and problems roadworks cause. Anyway, and massive delays. Think of the hassle of this machine then it actually has to go through and out of the roadworks, and imagine it's set on the M25 anyway.
Speed 3 temporary traffic lights.
Oh, Speed 3 lorry driver on the M25. There you go.
Speed 3 Heathrow intersection.
Oh no, I'm in the left-hand lane. I forgot the.
Yeah.
There used to be a racing game on the PC, which was just going around the M25.
Sounds amazing.
I can't remember what it was called,
My life.
but it was literally just you drove around the M25, so it was just one road, and then every now and then a sign would come up saying it's Junction 15,
Don't leave though.
Junction 16,
Keep
Uxbridge.
going.
Yeah, it's like the Hotel California of roads. You can check out at any time, but you can never leave.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. Jamie says, in regard to what we're talking about tonight, that's practically every movie he's ever seen. He also thought he might be talking about Superman rather than Armageddon, but it was Armageddon. And his movie like this is Golden Child. He goes, I loved it. Can't remember anything other than the Snake Lady though.
Actually, I'm not familiar with that one.
Me neither. I might have to watch it. But yeah.
You had me at Snake Lady.
Had me at Noun and Gremlin.
Now and Gremlin.
Yeah.
What about Spunky Donkey next?
All right. Now, which one to do? I could stick with the Jeff Daniels theme.
That's
but
magic.
So, yeah. Jeff Daniels and his wife. So this is early 90s. This is a early horror 90s.
Can I just be
horror.
really annoying and interrupt for a moment?
Yeah.
They were married, weren't they?
Paul Daniels and Debbie McGee.
Yeah.
Not Jeff Daniels. Debbie McGee.
Not
yeah,
Jeff
but yeah.
Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Paul
Jeff Daniels and Debbie. They were married, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were, yeah.
Okay,
Also,
sorry.
Jeff Daniels, not Paul Daniels' brother.
No,
Well, I
Just
don't know
the
about
same,
that.
just the same name.
I don't know.
I
see
might
some
look
sort of
that one
citation on that.
Duncan.
I mean, it's worth just changing Jeff Daniels' Wikipedia page for it.
That probably happens once every 24 hours anyway.
You just have to make up a reference to make it stick, really.
There is a way you can get it. Like you need to edit a Wikipedia page and then have a news publication use your reference as a source in a news article before it gets taken off, and then you can put it back citing that news article that cited your Wikipedia page, and that works. That will keep it on there. There are plenty of things that are on Wikipedia because of that.
So Jeff Daniels in this movie is married to a lady doctor, and they decide they want to move to a lovely country house, and so they move to a country house, and there's a funeral, and there's some horrendous creepy crawlies in there, and they have quite a bad kind of spider infestation, and some people die, and John Goodman comes in and it appears regularly and basically saves the day.
Anaconda, innit?
Yeah, Congo.
And he has some good lines because he's John Goodman. So he gets all suited and booted and goes in, and I don't think he uses it. He kills the queen because it's always the queen at the end. It's a buck off big spider, and I think he actually uses an axe.
He
Just
uses like
flips
a
her
flamethrower, doesn't he?
to do the brood. Yeah, so he starts off with one. I think someone gets bitten in the shower. There's a rip-off Psycho scene where a woman's screaming in the shower as a spider. It's fucking stupid.
I don't, I don't think she actually gets bitten, but like she's in the shower and the spider like jumps onto her back, but she can't feel it because of the water. But I don't think she actually gets bitten. The one that always gets me is there's a guy playing football and you see the spider crawling through the ear hole of his helmet.
Oh,
And then he puts the helmet on and you see him running out onto the field and then just sort of stop and keel over.
God.
And
That's
there's
pretty
the toilet bit as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, where
Well, I
he's
don't
checking for
remember
one,
it
where he,
all that
where he
well,
like he
but-
puts his hands around the bowl, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's checking for it, and it just runs out of reach, and he's like, "Nah, there's nothing here. It's fine, don't worry about it."
Yeah, so they do the infestation. It's basically just a reoccurring visit from Rent-A-Kill, just getting worse and worse. I mean, it's just a bad spider infestation of some tropical spider. I mean, it's meant to be like a Black Widow, but it's not. Well, everyone says it's a Black Widow. It gave Black Widows a really bad name, but it's not actually a Black Widow.
It
So
doesn't look anything like a Black Widow.
I mean, their name is Black Widow. They gave themselves bad
yeah.
name.
I mean,
Well,
it's
most-
an awesome name.
What do you mean they gave themselves? I'm pretty sure someone else named them that. They're like,
Yeah,
we
Spider-
are the Black Widows.
You don't get, yeah, I suppose you don't get to pick your own nickname.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
so wonder what film that
Arachnophobia
was.
got some great bits in it.
Yeah,
I
Arachnophobia is.
barely remember this.
Yeah,
The big,
and you know
that's
what?
it, the
Never
big
fucking
fight
watched
at the
that.
end, like he thinks he's beaten the queen spider or whatever the fuck it is, and then it like runs full pelt. I mean, he like shoots it with some sort of crossbow thing, doesn't he?
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
that's-
she goes like through something that's on fire, catches fire, and then like gets impaled on her own egg sac and then burns the whole lot up. It's quite ridiculous.
Sounds amazing.
I thought he killed most of the brood, like down underneath, and then she comes out again. I thought he finished her with an axe, but
there's two big boss spiders that he has to fight, aren't there? There's like the main male and then the main female that he has to fight.
That's what annoyed me, because there would not have been a main male. Males are usually really well, it's another animal film that's going to piss me off.
I mean, it's probably not real.
Yeah, it's not real. Yeah, but I just remember enjoying it. It was a fun, goofy. I mean, it's Goodman, isn't it? It's Daniels and Goodman out there.
I was about to say I'll watch pretty much anything with John Goodman in,
because it's going to.
Brilliant. I love John Goodman.
So if there was a video of him naked in a jacuzzi doing the helicopter, would you watch that?
Yeah, would probably be hilarious.
And that'd be quite difficult to do in a jacuzzi.
No, but he stands up
be the
every now and then. He
propeller.
rises out
He's
the
the
water.
reason there are bubbles. You know.
There we go. God, I mean that you've got to have some real like hip muscles to get things moving that fast through water, to generate bubbles.
He lost so much weight.
Is that how he did it?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
He's on the Joe Wicks helicopter in a jacuzzi plan.
Yeah. Will he wind your way to goodness? Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
out for
watch.
each day. Only take 20 minutes. Really targets the hips.
I'd probably watch that. Do you know what? We never really watched any. We didn't watch any John Wick. Joe Wick.
I'd fucking do a John Wick workout program.
That would be fucking brilliant. Yeah. But I would probably watch John Goodman just because it would be hilarious. I think it would be a lot funnier than Joe Wick.
Yeah, well, it would be. Yeah. Joe
right. That was a nice quick one because there wasn't much to talk about. But it was another I just thought it seamlessly linked because Jeff Daniels is in quite a few movies, I think, that we might not remember fully.
Well, he's not in my choice. So,
well, you ruined it, Tom.
I know, I've ruined it. We were on such a run, weren't we? We were on such a run. So, Duncan, unless is there any more you want to tell us about arachnophobia?
No, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Though
arachnophobia is the fear of spiders or arachnids, I guess, is sort of a more general thing. Insect-like beings with 8 legs. Beings.
Don't call arachnids insects and expect Duncan not to
sound
off at you.
I'm sort of seeing what's happening. I'm trying to make eye contact through Zoom.
So there is Dan shared, and it's on Twitter, a video of a guy just experiencing homemade limoncello in a very unique way, and his head goes really red, and my head goes really red sometimes if people calls spiders insects. They're not.
Right.
They are arthropods though.
Oh, right. Arthropods. Cool.
There you go. Every day is a school day for you, Tom.
Every day indeed. Every day indeed. Okay,
prawns are just woodlice that can swim.
That's true.
That's actually pretty accurate. But woodlice can swim. There are swimming woodlice.
All right. Well, that's horrifying. Okay. All right. Cool. Right. So film. I can remember what happens in The Matrix really well because that is classic. I can remember quite a bit of what happens in Matrix Reloaded.
Why wouldn't you? It's a clear, concise action story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plot and memorable hooks.
Absolutely. However, Matrix Revolution, I really struggled when I sat down to try and put pen to paper as to what actually happened in this film. So I'll run you through the bullet points.
Just a quick question. Is that the third one?
Yeah, Matrix Revolution is the third one. So there's the first one, classic, really easy to kind of map your way through that film. The second one, not a classic, but still an okay film with some really good set pieces. You can kind of string the story along between those set pieces if you remember which order they're in. But Matrix Revolution, all I can remember are the following bullet points. So bullet point 1, Neo stuck in a train station. Not entirely sure how that dovetails to the end of the last film when he's just unconscious in a train station when this film opens up. Then I seem to remember that there's some kind of chase. and I don't know whether it's Neo being chased or someone else being chased, and they go to a nightclub where everyone starts running on the ceiling, and there's like a ceiling fight, and you know, it's like they're really beginning to scrape the barrel at this point. So they're like, we've had them on the floor, we've had them on motorbikes, let's have them on the ceiling now. So there's a scrap on the ceiling. Then Trinity and Morpheus get out of a train and find Neo, and they put him on the train, and then they go, I don't know how, they get him out, and then there's a big, this is the thing, then there's a big fight in the human,
in the real
city,
world,
in the real world, in the human city, with the people with the gun robots
which is really cool,
against the robots. And then Neo decides I'm going to go fly to the machine world, so I'm going to take Trinity with me because I love her, obviously. And then when they go off in the Nebuchadnezzar, I think it's it's not the Nebuchadnezzar. They get given another ship, don't they? They get given the Logos, or the little ship.
Yeah, the Nebuchadnezzar gets destroyed, doesn't it?
It does. The Nebuchadnezzar gets destroyed, and they take the Logos, the little one, the little ship with Will Smith's partner, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah.
Is the captain. And
she's the main character in the game, wasn't she?
Her and Ghost, I think his name was. I only know that because I actually was one of the suckers that bought the Matrix game.
I think it was right.
Yes, that's all right. And then Trinity dies when they crash or something like that. But before that, human agent Smith blinds Neo and then gets killed. But Neo can see, like, in the real world now.
Yeah.
And then they crash in the human world. Then Trinity dies. Then he goes and fights Smith in the rain. And then Neo dies. And then the war ends. And then the film ends. And and then the franchise ends.
And so it goes on for several hours until the film just sort of ends.
Sort of ends, yeah. And that was the best I could do with it. I really tried, but I couldn't remember how this film went.
The only big bit that you're missing is when Colonel Sanders sits down with them for an hour or so and tells them everything that's going on. Is that the second one?
That's the second one. That's the architect who uses all the big words. You know, you are the systemic. You're the sum of a systemic anomaly. Yeah, and it just goes on and on. You know, fucking hell! Like that goes on for ages. That one. Concurrently, I have been unable to detect the stem of this systemic anomaly, of which you are the sixth version. Something blah 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 blah. Yeah, and and at the very end, the Matrix is reloaded anyway, and the Matrix still exists, and the Oracle's still there, and the Architect's still there, and he says something like, "You played a dangerous game," and she's like, "The sun's shining now." I don't know.
Yeah.
The third one should have been called The Matrix Reloaded anyway.
Yeah.
What?
The Matrix turned on and off again.
At the end of the Matrix? Like, so the war's over.
Yeah.
But the Matrix is still. So is the deal that like people can stay in the Matrix if they want, or go and live in Zion if they want?
It's not really explained. Like, effectively, that's I think the kind of bargain that's kind of struck.
So you've got the real world, except it's not real, or you've got post-apocalyptic underground bunker drinking recycled urine for the rest of your life.
Except the parties are off the
they are off the hook, man. They are so good. The DJs are bloody fantastic.
I always think with that party scene, if you imagine that without an actual soundtrack in real life, it would just be one big cave with like two blokes on some drums 500 meters away up the other end. I can't really hear it. It's a bit shit, isn't it? Should we go home?
Well, let's just take some drugs. Be right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I watched it. I remember seeing it in the cinema, and then I watched it again about 8 years ago, and I was as perplexed by what was going on then as I was tonight, trying to work out what happened in it.
It's genuinely baffling.
It is baffling.
Because you think you've got a handle on it, and you're like, Well, no, but so how come he could like control the machines in the real world then?
Yeah.
Because
There isn't really an explanation for that.
oh no, because he fights that. Because at the end of
Reloaded.
Reloaded, he's in a coma with the other guy who is in the coma, who wakes up and attacks, and Neo is blinded, but he can see him for some reason because he's got the Matrix inside him, and he therefore can see
Yeah.
the bad Agent Smith, which
But-
is really
But
weird.
how?
So weird.
How has
Because
he
he's the
got
fucking
the
one.
Matrix
Who
inside him?
cares?
But that will make sense in the Matrix because it's a computer program. So you can accept that, you know, someone can be breaking the code and doing things, but in the real world, suddenly he's all fucking magic.
Because he's Jesus, Russ.
I think it basically does come down to
Yeah.
because he's Jesus, doesn't
He
it?
says the architect says something to him in the second film along the lines of like you carry some sort of code from the source. They just call it the source. And I don't know whether they mean SORCE or SAUCE.
I
mean-
was going to make that joke.
Yeah.
You carry the code to the Heinz 57.
Yeah.
Sauce. Yeah,
You
yeah.
carry the code in your source. You know, it's like, oh, is that what that is? You know, and yeah, so I think he has. They say it's some kind of. I mean, they literally explain it away by saying you must have some kind of wireless connection to the machines, and then we're not going to talk about it anymore. Don't press us on the details. It's wireless, okay? It's Wi-Fi.
Just Wi-Fi. I mean, it was like 1999, 2000, 2000. It was when Wi-Fi was kind of magic.
Yeah. So they're just
There's
like
no
magic.
cables. Yeah.
Magic. Yeah. So that's it. That's what I can remember of the Matrix Revolution. Badly remembered film. Well, badly remembered bad film. I think
It's
it's probably
bad.
fair to
Any-
say.
Any
bad film.
conversation about the Matrix Revolution does come down to a bunch of people just going, no, but wasn't it? No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And that's how
and,
it
and
ends.
even the people that go, well, no, actually, I think you'll find it makes sense. And then you start talking about it, eventually go, nah, it's bollocks, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That was
and there was
pretty
someone's like,
bollocks.
well, if you had read your philosophy, you would get a lot more out of it, and you can punch those people. That's illegal.
Oh, is that legal, is it? I didn't
yeah,
realise
it's
that.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, there we go. Right, should we start from the top again?
Mm-hmm.
Russ.
Okay, which one should we do next? So this is a film that I'm just incredibly fond of. It's a sort of small budget, small scale, very rural British horror film. It really revels in sort of detail and texture and little hidden messages and little nuggets that you can look out for in rewatches. Expert tension building with sort of little subtle glimpses of the creature and the sort of the carnage that it wrecks on this village. Loads and loads of expert references to loads of classic sort of horror type, loads of like lots of Hammer movie references in this. Yeah, it's one of the best of the relatively small genre of what's a brief amount of time on Wikipedia and Google before this, I would think is called leparinthropy, as opposed to lycanthropy. That's almost certainly wrong, but as far as I can tell, that's what the word would be if people turned into rabbits at the full moon.
Oh, this is Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah,
That's the way about it.
so good. I love this movie so much. This and Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists are just but you can pause those movies at any point and you'll spot 3 or 4 jokes in the background that you hadn't noticed before at any point throughout the entire movie. They're so
I think I went
good.
to this. Wasn't Were Rabbit in the cinema? I'm sure of actually.
Yeah, it's the
When
movie.
Yeah, it was in the cinema. Yeah, it's proper.
We went to
full-on-
see the Were Rabbit at the cinema. I remember because I was probably an embarrassment.
Almost certainly, but is that relevant to what film you're going to see?
Or cinema.
Generally, if it's something that I'm going to laugh at, then I'm an embarrassment.
Yeah. So I love anything to do with Wallace and Gromit, but this was, I mean, I think this is my favourite Wallace and Gromit thing, apart from The Wrong Trousers, which is clearly the best one. Just for that moment where the penguin pulls the rubber glove off its head and Wallace goes, oh, "It's you!" Which is the funniest thing that's ever happened anywhere. Yeah, Curse of the Were-Rabbit is fucking hilarious.
Mm.
The rabbits are incredibly cute and have excellent comic timing, especially when pretending to be Ralph Fiennes' wig.
I mean, that's brilliant. I also love how whenever they see another rabbit, they sort of smile and wave
They just start
at
waving at each other. They're just so happy to see each other all the time.
Yeah. So when they're circling that, they're sort of inside the big bunny back, and they just sort of like see someone outside. I just love that. Like,
because that one he shoots at that one, and it thinks it's like rushing towards heaven, and it pops up into the light. And all these other bunnies.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's like you say, it is also brilliantly built up. I love the pursuit through the tunnel. The
car
with
underground.
Gromit. Yeah, it's bloody marvelous. That absolutely brilliant. It's so good, and the plane, the bit with the plane at the end.
Dogfight with the two carnival planes. Yeah, that's quite similar to there's a bit in A Close Shave where they have.
That's right.
They don't really have a dogfight as such, do they? But Gromit is in a little plane. It's the sidecar of the motorbike.
And then
the button and wings pop out.
The big like Terminator dog grabs hold of the propellers and it stops for a moment, and then you see Gromit fly up out. Yeah. Oh God.
Oh yeah, I love those so much. I keep trying to force my son to watch them, and he's not that interested yet.
Yeah. See, Vinny, I think it was at 5 years old. He suddenly was keen, but every time I said, "Shall we watch Wallace and Gromit?" he would literally roll his eyes and just be like, "All right, Daddy loves Wallace and Gromit." But
also because I'd keep pausing and go, "Now, right, the reason this is funny is because of this," and nothing would destroy anyone's appreciation of something quicker.
Oh God, so good. I mean, sorry.
I mean, I've tried watching Timmy Time with Philin.
Yeah, it's not the same, is it?
No, but it's trying to encourage. It's like the early first steps.
I know. I still haven't seen the fucking second Shaun the Sheep movie because my son refuses to watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it on my own.
Yeah, you are.
It's meant to be really funny. I really want to see it.
I've heard it's good.
But he won't let me watch it. Bastard. Right, who's next?
Me again, isn't it?
So it's nearly. I know we started a little bit late, but it's nearly 9. So why don't we have this last round, and then we can always save the other ones for a second part.
Go for it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
So there's this cop, right? Once again, I don't remember this film. I want to stress that. Okay, this is a film that I remember loving, but I don't really remember what happens in it. So there's this cop. He's from Detroit. Yeah. Stumbles upon a drug cartel, I think, which means he's got to go deep undercover. And
not just undercover, but like deep undercover.
Deep undercover, yeah. I remember
Double
that
deep.
bit. Yeah.
Captain, how deep are we talking here? Deep or deep?
He's got to go deep under. That's a big thing in the film. That's the one thing I remember. He's got to go to LA to infiltrate them. He requisitions loads of stuff like a suit and a car, all sorts really. Judge Reinholdt's in it. He doesn't seem to have many friends, and he's like super sensible in it. But falls for Axel. Axel's wits and charm, and they become. I've just given away the guy's name, and they become really good friends. Then some stuff happens. Oh, anyway, there's a bit where he's got to pretend to know about art and meets a French gallery owner called Serge. I don't know whether that actually happens or I made that up. Who helps him find this big house where the bad guys live. They suss out that he's a cop and then start to go after him, so he has to infiltrate their house and take them down, which he does, busting the drug ring in the process. He decides he's going to go stay with Judge Reinhold in Beverly Hills, and there's the music. Yeah. That's what I remember about Beverly Hills Cop.
I preferred Beverly Hills Cop 2.
That, actually.
I remember thinking it was fucking brilliant. Heat is on. Was that the second one?
So he's not. I thought he was an LAPD detective to start with.
No, I think he's from Detroit, and then he has to go to LA.
Doesn't he?
And I remember,
I'm
and I
thinking
remember,
of fucking
yeah.
Rush Hour.
And I remember the
Which owes a lot
$2,000
to
for a
Beverly Hills
suit, $6,000 for a Ferrari, and he goes, "Well, I just thought, don't think, Axel, it makes my dick itch." That's the only thing I really remember about the only line I remember. That and the deep undercover bit. Got to go deep undercover.
Double deep.
Yeah, I can't remember anything else about that film though. But
Yeah, I can
I
actually-
know.
I've definitely
Like,
seen
if
that
someone-
movie several
if
times.
someone
but I
goes,
can tell
"Is
you what
this-
she actually does in it.
Yeah, if someone holds it up and go, "Is this any good?" I'll go, "Yeah, it's brilliant. It's an amazing film."
What happens in it? Oh,
Judge Reinhold,
yeah,
Reinhardt,
Judge Reinhold
whatever.
happens.
Yeah,
yeah, Judge Reinhold.
Reinhardt's a character in Overwatch.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah, it's Judge Reinhold, isn't it? Yeah.
so that's a badly remembered game for me.
Yeah.
I've played it a few times, but don't remember really much about it.
So yeah, that's Beverly Hills Cop, as far as I'm concerned. It's made me
Tremendous.
want to watch Beverly Hills Cop again, because I know this film is good, but I don't remember what happens in it.
Weirdly, you do actually need, you do need Beverly Hills Cop, because you watch Beverly Hills Cop 2, and there are references actually to the first film, because otherwise it sort of why they know each other doesn't 100% make sense.
Otherwise, they're two just separate films.
I like the idea that there's a
If there weren't
character.
references to the first one, it'd probably just be Beverly Hills Cop and Argo.
Beverly Hills Cop.
I like that there's a
To
character
to
called.
make a completely separate movie, and then just insist that it is the sequel to an existing one.
It must have happened.
No, but like, don't even make any effort to link them together. So you got like Predator, and then maybe something like The Shape of Water, and just call it Predator 2.
If it works, isn't it? Suppose, yeah.
Isn't that what they did with the Terminator films? Hey!
No, they just.
I don't get. I'm just curious as to why one of the characters is called Judge Reinhold.
That's the actor's name.
Judge Reinhold?
Yeah, his first name
Reinhold.
is Judge.
H-O-L-D-T,
Reinhold.
Yeah,
I think, or H-O-L-D. He's
I
not
thought it
called
was
Judge
Reinhold.
Reinhold.
he's not. Why? No, I didn't say rhyme hole. What's
I
a
thought you said
rhyme?
Rhinehole, like the
It is.
Rhineland, like
It is.
Rhinehole.
It is that. It's that.
That's it.
Judge
Okay.
Right.
Did he hang up on me? He just hung up on me.
Yeah,
Did he
Judge
hang up on me? He just hung up on me.
Judge Reinhold.
Hold.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in Arrested Development,
He
playing
is.
himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jamie got excited saying Golden Child is also an Eddie Murphy movie. So apparently, Eddie Murphy movies, we don't really remember them.
I remember Golden Child coming up a lot in.
Well, they put Eddie Murphy movies before the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he started playing every character.
Ugh.
Ugh.
My favourite story is the fact that he basically played himself out of an Oscar, like from Dreamgirls, by doing Norbert or whatever, whichever one it fucking was, the clumps or whatever. Like any of those shit films where he wears a fat suit and he's massively offensive. But yeah,
Has anyone seen Coming to America 2?
No.
Anyone have any desire to see it? It looks pretty awful.
I love
really.
the first. The first one's great,
Oh, yeah,
But-
yeah. First one's amazing.
but I don't know. It's got reasonable reviews, didn't it? I thought, but
It's sort of hovering in the 2-3 star.
oh, the one
Bracket.
about the metal drummers now on Amazon Prime though, and that seems more tempting. Can't remember what it's
The
called.
Riz Ahmed one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks really good. He's got an Oscar nomination.
Sound of Metal, isn't it? It's called.
Sound
Yeah.
of Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on Amazon Prime, so I might watch that instead.
It's on Amazon Prime already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite tempting. Mainly because
quite
he's been
sad, though.
popping up on Six Music all the time, talking to like every single. He's been on like every single Six Music show over the last week, talking about this movie.
Makes
Which
sense,
has
doesn't
made
it?
me definitely want to watch it. He also seems like he's one of those annoyingly, like really multi-talented people who's actually quite likable.
Mm-hmm. And Disney, if you ever wanted to make the Bodhi film, I'm in as well.
I can't. I don't think there's. What would be the hook for that?
He should have had a bigger part in Rogue One.
I
That's
mean,
one of my
yes.
that's one of my few complaints about Rogue One is that he gets screwed over in that film because he's such an amazing character.
Yeah, the whole the whole bit with the weird mind octopus.
Yeah,
That shouldn't have been in it because it
No,
doesn't
not at
do
all.
anything or go anywhere
yeah.
or serve really any purpose.
And also, he's pretty nervous and weird before the mind octopus thing happens. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
just-
and it just
just
and then
roll
like
with it,
he's
yeah.
okay again half an hour later.
yeah,
It and this whole like, oh yeah, you can, but you'll probably go insane, but he doesn't.
yeah. And we can't even if he does, it's no more insane than he was previously. Anyway,
Yeah,
no, yeah, that film's shit, really, isn't it? I'm joking. I love Rogue One's one of is my favorite Star Wars film. So yes.
Oh, I've started watching. That's what whilst we were setting up the new TV, putting Disney Plus on. I noticed that there was the entire. You now can get the classics. There is the Caravan of Courage
Mm-hmm.
available,
yeah.
but I
it's
didn't start
abysmal.
watching that. Yeah,
not
well, I
good.
didn't. And Ewoks is on there, and I was like, I might start watching that. I didn't. I started watching Rebels because of your recommendation.
Nice.
But yeah, Rebels is good. Rebels is
I
good.
agree.
And the
I really.
the first Clone Wars animated series is on there as well.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Masterpiece.
the really old one. So it's listed under like Star Wars Vintage, which makes
Yeah.
me feel old. Especially because that was originally released as a fucking web series. I don't think anything that was
It
created
was.
as a web series can be called vintage.
That's
think
the
it
2D
can,
one,
Russ.
isn't it? As they
Yeah.
called it.
But like before, like I think the best I'd ever seen. I had a DVD of them, but it wasn't great quality because they weren't created at like.
I remember we watched
In
them on my
4K, I
TV.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I had those on DVD as well. Yeah, like you say, they
are
were.
brilliant. Those.
Yeah, they're very good.
So good.
They make General Grievous terrifying.
Yeah,
all of a
that's where
sudden
he was
he's much more
introduced.
scary.
That was the first
Yeah.
time he was shown. Was in that animated series, and it's brilliant. And there's the bit where Mace Windu just beats up an entire army of battle droids without his lightsaber.
Who is it, by the way, who crushes General Grievous's chest? Is it Windu?
Mace
Or-
Windu,
yeah.
It is Windu, yeah.
Just, and it's like,
And that's why he has the cough in Revenge of the Sith.
yeah.
Jamie says Rogue One was a little underwhelming. I have no idea what film you watched, but it definitely wasn't Rogue One.
Can you like kick someone off?
I mean, you're just wrong.
There's
Yeah.
Like,
four
it's people who
options.
saying there was that Twitter thing where it was like, which film would you keep or whatever?
Yeah.
I was like, well,
Well,
Rogue
it
One
was-
is.
It was one of the new ones, Solo, Rogue One, and Revenge of the Sith or something, wasn't it? It's like you keep Rogue One.
Yeah, and Rise of Skywalker, and you're like, nope. And then there's people saying Rogue One was shit. I'm like, no, you are wrong. You're the kind of person that votes for Brexit.
Yeah.
I can get why some people wouldn't like Rogue. I mean, it is essentially a war movie, and some people just don't
And
like
it's
them. But
I
It's not
just
bad.
think anyone who has even a
Only watch it
passing interest or passion for Star Wars to be like, I don't like this film, then you are missing the point of it. It's really good.
People are allowed not to like films, Tom. I am just joking with this.
I mean
mean-
even the last like 4 minutes or so when Darth Vader's just cutting a bloody swathe through that rebel blockade runner. I mean that alone makes it head and shoulders above anything Michael Bay has ever made.
yeah,
I mean-
the one moment where he force lifts the guy, slams him
And then
into the
just go-
ceiling, and then does the backhanded. I keep whacking this. I need to stop doing that. Backhanded slash with the lightsaber, and
At the same time as pulling all the weapons out of the hands of everyone in front of him, just slicing his way through them. And then there's that moment where the lightsaber just slices through the door, and then it opens, and the body
through
falls
a
to the
dude
floor.
as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just genius. It's brilliant. It did for Darth Vader what did we say? What was that say? What was it you said last time we were talking about this, Dan? You said it did something for someone as Rogue One did for Darth Vader.
Oh, well, obviously Luke Skywalker in
Yes, Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is brilliant. If you watch Luke's advance through the Dark Troopers, he switches almost seamlessly from attack and defense. Like in any moment, he's immediately covering himself with something and attacking something else. It's amazingly well choreographed.
We've got more comments on this than we have anything else we've been talking about in this pod so far.
We know how to please our
Bring
people.
it on.
Okay, so Jamie Jack says that he didn't think that the Clone Wars was a web series. It was on CW apparently, or Cartoon Network. Sorry.
I first saw it as like there was some Star Wars website where they showed them in like you had to sort of click load, and then 45 minutes later it would have loaded up in a little tiny flash player.
Bass says Rogue One is the only Star Wars movie that Disney has made. And I just want to give a shout out to Bass because he's been very helpful with the Gridiron Gentleman mock draft today. So thank you, Bass, for starters. He's been a massive help for us. And Jamie says that the Darth Vader scene was awesome. So yeah. Right.
There you
we
go.
got two more movies, right?
Yeah, I think so. That would probably round it off quite nicely. Yep. Donkey.
Well, I was tempted to do Attack of the Clones, but it turns out I really can't remember any of it.
Really?
Like, I'm not going to do it because we just spent ages wanging on about Star Wars, so I can't be asked.
Talking about the same things anyway.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about a film that I really enjoyed. And it's a 1970s martial arts film, and like it starts. It's a revenge film, plus it's a revenge film for someone's sister who actually commits suicide because she's been chased, and she commits suicide because she doesn't want it. Well, obviously, but she just doesn't. She was going to get raped, basically, and you can tell that she was going to get beaten and raped by these agents of a gang, and on top of that, the protagonist, is working in a Shaolin temple and is training, and it has the best line of "Don't think, feel," and I can't not do a really bad accent. I'm really sorry.
Can.
No, I can't, because it is just integral to, and also saying be like water. It's just amazing. As he's teaching these students. And this FBI, CIA, some special, I think it's meant to be CIA, but it's not quite CIA, says, can you go and we think the villain, I think is called Han or something like that. And he has an island. So this gang is meant to be running it's a drug front, a drug den of an island, but handily, it's fronted by a really brutal martial arts school, not a good martial arts school like this one, but a brutal one where students are beaten and often killed. And so he goes off to fight in this deadly tournament, and he is accompanied by two Americans who are I think, because it's 73, I think this film, it's a 70s film. And so I think they're Vietnam War vets, and they are guests of honor, and it's just a lot of cool martial art. It's a lot of cool fights, and so they watch some of the training, and there's a really big beefy guy who you can tell is meant to be one of the big bads. It's like there is the boss who doesn't look much, but is actually got, like, you see eventually he kills one of the other guest fighters because he thinks he has been snooping around when really he hasn't. He's just been chilling out. He was just outside, caught in the wrong moment, but he's killed by this really lethal claw. And it does turn out that this is actually a drug den, and the main protagonist sort of sneaks around, takes out a couple of guards, gets some photos, meets a contact she's somehow got onto the island as well, and
So can I
Yeah.
stop you, Duncan?
yeah,
So the two things we said for this were either badly describe a film or a film that you barely remember. You're just very well describing in intricate detail a film you like.
well, it's really, no, I'm not. It's not intricate. It's like bits. I'm totally getting in the wrong order. It's Enter the Dragon.
Yes.
I just really remember the fights. That's all. It's just really funny, and like it's a really cool film. But then you just put it down, going, it's really ridiculous. It's like two different schools of martial arts, and it's the whole. You can tell the whole premise originally was a revenge arc, but then they sort of sneak in. Oh no, but he's actually a secret agent as well. But that bit is done pretty poorly, and I think
as I remember, he fights Bob Wall in both of them.
Yeah,
But only fights Chuck Norris in Way of the Dragon. Is that right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Which is the one that ends with in the sort of the Hall of Mirrors?
Enter the Dragon.
So I think I've only seen that film once, and I think it was at about 3:00 in the morning, and I've got very hazy memories of it.
Well, I'm pretty sure only times I've ever watched it as either I was stoned or I was drunk. And it's always late at night. And it's usually actually after we come back in from probably from the pub. And yeah, I just remember the claw and like,
Yeah, like the Wolverine claw thing that he's got.
yeah.
That is cool.
And he gets
And
those
there's-
awesome, like the scratch, the sort of the cuts across him. Yeah.
I just remember the conversation that Gareth and Simon, the IT guy, have about Bruce Lee in The Office.
The IT's guy's Garth Marenghi, isn't he?
You know he's
Yeah.
not really dead, don't you?
Yeah.
You know,
His
no,
name's
he
not
went,
actually, it's Matt Holness, obviously. Garth
Yeah.
Marenghi's a made-up character.
Bruce Lee went undercover
St. Albans
with
native.
the Hong Kong police to fight the triads. You know, that's true. I read it in a book.
I keep threatening to watch Garth Marenghi again. I might have to
It's
do
so.
I watched it again
Yeah.
quite
Good.
recently. It's fucking brilliant.
it. It is great.
Does anyone else love that moment where he looks around the corner when Liz is
Yeah.
making everything telekinetic, and he goes, "It's a cordless iron," and then the iron floats past them, and it clearly has a cord and a plug, just like as it floats past. Sorry, it just makes me snort laugh. It's so weird. It's like,
I love
They
that.
put so much effort into making it crap.
Yeah.
Like the
goddamn son of a
like
bitch.
there's like the microphones move around, so like the people's voices sound different from scene to scene, and like you'll hear them knocking the microphone on their clothes and things like that. It's
Calm down, Missy. I said the chicken would be ready in a minute. Just smashes the tray out of her hand. And someone helps her pick it up and she goes, "No, he's quite right. I was making an awful fuss."
hello,
One,
you're
and
a
one
woman.
Track,
Yes, I hope that's not a problem.
One Track Lover is a genuinely
Awful.
brilliant fucking song as well.
Oh, Skipper,
Anyway,
Skipper
Enter the
the
Dragon is a fucking great film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really great.
Skipper the Eye Child.
Skipper the Eye Child.
It's just such a weird thing. Like, I just don't get the secret agent bit. It wasn't. You could have just done the revenge arc. It would have just worked.
If you'd asked me to describe the plot of that movie at all, I wouldn't have known where to begin. I know I've seen it and enjoyed it, but I've got literally nothing in terms of actual plot.
I would imagine the secret agent part was put in there so it would appeal to like a Western audience.
Yeah. I do have it.
That's not a bad shout,
Okay, so
actually.
I did actually look this up a wee bit because I wanted just to double check.
And
a
rattle
few-
off every single
So,
detail that
the
happens in
badly
the movie.
remembered film,
Well, it was really badly. I was.
and you looked it up.
Well, there was something I just wanted to. I knew that there was a fact about it. Funny enough, there's a fact that I wanted just to double check. and that is that Jim Kelly, who plays Williams.
Ace Ventura.
What? Nice. He was found at a martial arts studio in Los Angeles, and he was the international middleweight karate champion. And so he was just found. Yeah, that's it. It was a cool little thing that he wasn't actually even an actor. It was just because he was an expert in karate. He's the one that gets sort of loses. Oh, it's just weird. It's like I just remember the big beefy guy who died recently, I think, as well, or a couple of years ago. Who is meant to be mega hard, but sort of loses to the American. And it's just people training on all terraces in this kind of ruin kind of thing. It was really weird, really dark, really good.
Nice.
Sorry.
That's all good. Tom, you on?
Yeah, so I was going to do Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, badly remembered, because while I do say it's one of my favourite films, because I genuinely remember watching it and thinking it was brilliant, all I can remember that there was some trouble. It was big trouble. It was in Little Chinatown. Kurt Russell solved it, and then there was no trouble in Little Chinatown. But I figure this one, okay, so it's not a proper Bond film. It's not actually a proper Bond film. It's not made by. It's a sort of almost I say fictional Bond film. They're all fictional. It's not a real Bond film, but it has got Sean Connery in it, and I like to think of myself as a bit of a Bond fan and stuff like that. But I'm not. I Never Say Never Again is one of those films that I know has James Bond in it, and it has Sean Connery, my favourite of the Bonds, in it. But I really don't know what was going on with it. I know it starts with some kind of simulation, and Bond is like doing training or something in some kind of virtual reality world or something like that. And they do the whole bait and switch of like, oh my God, Bond's dead in like the first 10 minutes. And then he wakes up and it's like, I think it's like a computer simulation or something.
He's jerking off in a holodeck, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The things I would do with a holiday. Anyway, no, sorry, we can't disappear down that rabbit hole. Then I don't know what happens or why. They end up in North Africa, I think, Libya or somewhere like that, or in Tobruk, or I can't remember. And he wears a fez, and he meets Rowan Atkinson.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson is in Never Say Never Again, and I know because they do a mission like they do in a Bond film. I can't remember why or what or who the bad guy is. I know he defeats the bad guy, he gets the girl, barely survives it, and then at the end of it, he pushes Rowan Atkinson into a pool, and that's how it ends with him with Rowan Atkinson clutching a suitcase in the pool, and that's the end of a Bond film.
And it links directly to the opening credits of Mr. Bean.
Is that right?
Yeah, where he just like falls from the sky in Mr. Bean, and then like
So he falls into the pool and then into the plug hole, and then
he's on the ground. Discombobulated as Mr. Bean, yeah.
Amazing.
I've never even put two and two together. Mr. Bean's an alien.
Mr. Bean is an alien.
How did I not even put two and two together with that?
Yeah.
The Latin singing at the beginning of Mr. Bean episodes actually, if in Wikipedia it's translated as something like he's the man, he's the bean of a man, he's a man bean, like completely. Not from here, or I don't know. It's kind of strange, but you can find the translation of the Latin.
I did not know Mr. Bean was an alien.
I don't know if it's officially established, but the opening credits do seem to sort of suggest it.
Imply that he's definitely an alien, yeah.
Because it's like a beam of light comes down, doesn't it?
Never Say Never Again was meant to be a sequel, either Thunderball. It was meant to be either Thunderball redone or a sequel to Thunderball, and it's because Connery wasn't pleased with it.
So the lyrics are Ecce homo qui est faber, and in that Ecce homo qui
look at this
est
man, he is a bean.
So basically, behold the man who is a bean, and then at the end they sing farewell the man who is a bean.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but in Latin, and they just repeat the phrase over and over again.
Why is that so amusing? I love it.
It's brilliant, isn't it? And it's actually in the animated series.
Yeah.
It turns out that it actually categorically proves and categorically shows his race of identical looking Mr. Beans. The only thing that's different about them all is, I think, which side the mole on his cheek is, or the teddy bear they have. So the teddy bear is like is their link to each other. Like they literally a flying saucer lands, it opens up, and loads of Mr. Beans holding different coloured teddies comes out.
And who wrote the Mr. Bean theme tune?
Was it Rowan Atkinson?
It was Howard Goodall.
It was Howard Goodall.
Award-winning Howard
Wow.
Goodall. Yeah.
I can't
So there
remember
we
how it
go.
goes. In my head, I just keep hearing the Vicar of Dibley music.
Same. Yeah. Basically,
It's not a million miles away from
uncultured
that, is it?
swines that we are, just all choral music sounds the same to you and me, Russ.
And it's not even choral music, isn't it? The Vicar of Dibley is "The Lord Is My Shepherd," sung by a choir.
Oh, it is. Yeah. It's still choral music.
But
though.
yeah, but it's not like it's
So
not like
beautiful though, isn't
Latin
it?
kind of.
Yeah. Gregorian chant.
I
type
take
of
it
thing.
you think it just sounds the same as the Halo original Halo soundtrack.
Yes.
Yeah, same thing, isn't it?
And the thing is, I'm one of those people who can't tell the difference between different shades of yellow. So, you
I
know.
also keep seeing the bit in Always Sunny where they have the ceremony with the Gregorian chant music, and then the beat drops and they start dancing.
A couple of comments. Jack reckons you hit on pretty much every plot point in Enter the Dragon there, Duncan.
Yeah, I don't feel I need to go and see it now.
No. And also Jackie Chan was in it.
Ah, didn't-
And Paul Edge asked if we're describing Hot Shots Part 2 instead of Never Say Never
Say
Again.
Never Again.
Because it is very
Oh
similar.
my god! Now
Hot
that
Shots.
is amazing.
Yeah.
That is one of those films that I do remember almost word for word. There are moments in that film that I will never ever forget. When he finds Rowan Atkinson in that prison cell, and he goes, "Come on, we're getting out of here." He just goes, "I can't walk," and he goes, "Why?" "They've tied my shoelaces together." And he looks down and he just goes, "Those bastards are not." And he just kind of looks out the window, stiff upper lip, carries him around. He just goes, "I need a drink of water." Lower. Oh, this is
Not
very
really
cold.
cold,
Is this filtered?
Hot Shots Part 2. Better than Hot Shots as well.
Oh,
Yes,
much better.
really
than Hot
is.
Shots. Although,
Good, but yeah.
although for a Top Gun spoof, there is nothing better than hearing all the radio chatter. You know, like you're coming into land, approaching from 12 o'clock. Ah, roger that, Papa's Fluffer Nutters. Yeah, roger that, Millie Chili. Roger that, Millie Willy Chili Vanilli. and I've lost the wing. I've lost the other wing and the tailplane.
You're looking
Coming
great.
into land. Boom.
Boom.
Slam.
I have to admit, one of my favourite bits of Hot Shots Part 2 is going, suddenly we saw a patrol boat, and then it happened, and it's the big fart.
Yeah.
I love the bit where he's firing the arrows as well. And the guy keeps
Just the
ducking.
chicken.
And this is-
Is that the one where they're on the boat and you can hear him monologuing,
Yeah.
and then you hear somebody else's monologue,
Yeah.
and then
And
it's
it's
his
Mar-
dad on the
it's
other boat,
Martin.
and they both stand
Yeah.
up and go, "I loved you in
Loved you,
Wall Street."
So yeah, Charlie Sheen's doing the Platoon monologue, and Martin Sheen's doing the Apocalypse Now. Yeah, I couldn't believe they wanted this guy dead. I loved you in Wall Street.
Paul Edge says Papa Zulu pickle blowfish.
yeah. Or in Hot Shots Part 2, it's the Obano, it's ASAM Carsack Paddywhack. Paddywhack? Give a dog a bone, sir. Ah, of course. Or finally, just one thing: when in Hot Shots, the original, when they're like, I think their commanding officer walks in, he just walks in and he goes, "Now, when I look out across all you fine young men, I think to myself, what I wouldn't give to be 20 years younger, and a woman."
Oh god, it's so good.
It's also the fight scene at the beginning of where he's dipping in and then he's dipping in sprinkles. I was thinking about that the other day.
It's the noises as well, because they've obviously overdubbed Charlie Sheen just going, nah.
Yeah.
Just over the top of it. It's so good. Oh god, I'm gonna have to watch Hot Shots. I agree. Bass says, "Damn, need to watch Hot Shots again."
Oh, so
Yeah, me
good.
too. We
So
should probably
much
need to
Hot
watch
Shots part
Airplane again as well, for that matter. As well, so.
Part two is
Airplane, yeah,
the second one is the Rambo piss take, isn't
Yeah.
it?
that's right.
Yeah.
War. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Topper. You taught me to kill again.
Kill again.
And
Look,
Saddam,
I've hurt myself as well as a little cunt. I mean, that's so wrong, but and it's just where it goes. The most kills in any movie ever. Just end up throwing bullets.
Grabbing them
It's
and
back. The bullets are up to his nipples, basically.
and like when it shows him in slow motion, just. Oh man, that was like Charlie Sheen at the peak of just the comedy silliness that he was so good at.
You win after the bull crushing in that fight, and he's the nuts.
He's eating that massive Subway sandwich with the pig snout hanging out the end of it.
And they just-
Yeah.
Oh, but it's also the Terminator, like the T-1000, and there's a Saddam Hussein reblent.
Oh, yeah.
Melt. It sort of freezes him with a
With his
fire
dog.
extinguisher.
Oh god, I might have to watch that again. Might just have to watch all spoofs again because now I want to Spaceballs again as well.
Spaceballs is good. Very clever.
Go to ludicrous speed. Not What's this? Raspberry jam. I only know one person who uses raspberry jam.
No.
Lone Star. Sorry.
And on that note, I think we can probably draw today's episode of Badly Remembered Films to a close. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, we're going to give you a wave because that's what you're here for. You're here for a wave. Wave, everyone. Wave. Wave. That's why they're here. And if you're listening to us, of course, then we will send you an audible wave. If you could hear that, there you go. That's your wave. I just waved in front of the microphone. Hopefully you heard it. If you want to interact with us or you want to share with us any of your badly remembered films or anything else that we've spoken about, even if you want to just, slag off, the Rise of Skywalker again, that's absolutely fine. Do so on our Instagram, Facebook or Twitter channels using the handle @TMTOH. Don't forget that in the Instagram bio, you'll also find a link to our Discord server, which of course is full of conversation from everything from PC hardware, games, tech, films, and loads of other stuff. Then please
Not
do
porn.
there's neat porn in it. So it's totally clean. Really do come along and join the conversation. And with that, I will say, it looks like there's a little bit of admin.
Yeah,
Just
don't forget Marveling Marvel, mine, Terry, Steve's podcast, where we're working our way through Falcon and Winter Soldier, which includes the epic last episode. That episode of the podcast will be going up tonight after this pod.
Superb.
Morning. And World Cup of Villains will start officially on the social medias tomorrow. So look out for that. We've got some stuff going up there.
Exciting times. If you're listening, of course, then it has probably already started because we tend to put up the audio.
Yeah, Hans Gruber has already won at this point. By the time
absolutely. Simon Gruber, his brother, didn't win so much. He's a soldier, not a monster.
Simon says, yeah.
Simon says, yes. As I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye to Duncan.
Goodbye.
I'll say goodbye to Dan.
Party people.
Party people. Nice one, brother. Goodbye to Russ.
Laters.
It's goodbye from me, Tom. I didn't introduce myself at the beginning, so you've probably been wondering who I am. But I'm Tom. Goodbye. And on that note, let's cue the music.
Right.